Hey everyone, and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to build a fully functional to-do list application using Python and Tkinter. This is a great beginner-friendly project that will help you understand GUI development and basic file handling in Python. By the end of this video, you'll have a desktop app that lets users add tasks, delete them, and even save their list to a file, so it's available the next time they open the app. So let's get started. First, all you need is Python. We'll be using Tkinter, which is the standard GUI toolkit that comes bundled with Python, so there's no need to install anything extra. Just make sure you have Python set up and ready to go. Next, open your favorite code editor or IDE. You can use VS Code, PyCharm, or even something simple like idle. We'll start by creating the main application window. This is the frame that holds all the widgets in your app, like text boxes, buttons, and lists. We'll give it a title like To-Do List App, and set its size to something reasonable, like 400 by 400 pixels. That's big enough to work with, but still compact. At the top of the window, we'll add a label that says something like My To-Do List, so users know what the app is for. Below that, we'll place an entry field where users can type in their task. This is the main input area, and it should be wide enough for full sentences. The idea is that a user will type something like buy groceries or finish homework into this field. To display the list of tasks, we'll use something called a list box. This is a scrolling list where each new task will appear once it's added. Every time the user types a task and clicks the Add button, that task will show up in this list. The list box is a central part of our UI. It gives users a visual reference of all the tasks they've added so far. Next up, let's add functionality. We'll create two main buttons, one to add a task to the list, and another to delete a selected task. When the Add Task button is clicked, the app should take whatever is typed into the input field and add it to the list box. If the input is empty, we'll show a pop-up warning asking the user to type something before adding. When the Delete Task button is clicked, it should remove the task that the user has currently selected in the list box. If nothing is selected, we'll display a warning asking the user to select a task before trying to delete. These small checks make the app more user-friendly and prevent errors. Now here's where things get even more practical. We want the tasks to be saved, even after the app is closed. To do that, we'll use a text file called tasks.txt. We'll create two additional functions, one to save tasks to the file and one to load them when the app starts. The save function will collect all the current tasks from the list box and write them to the text file, each on its own line. We'll call this function every time a task is added or deleted, so the file is always up to date. The load function will run automatically when the app launches. It will check if the file exists, and if it does, it will read the contents and populate the list box with the saved tasks. This way, the app remembers everything the user was working on, even if they close it and reopen it later. To make everything look a bit more polished, we'll add some spacing and padding between elements. We'll also keep the fonts clean and readable. The layout will be vertical, with each element stacked one below the other. First the title, then the entry field, followed by the buttons, and finally the list of tasks. This layout keeps the interface simple, clean, and intuitive, perfect for a basic productivity tool. Once everything is set up, it's time to test. Start by adding a few tasks, say call mom, submit report, and go for a run. You should see them appear in the list as you add them. Try selecting one and deleting it. Then, close the app and reopen it. The remaining tasks should still be there. That means your saving and loading functionality is working as expected. Now that you've got a working app, think about how you could expand it. Here are a few ideas. Add a feature to mark tasks as completed, maybe with a checkbox or strike-through text. Add priority levels, so some tasks show in red, others in green. Use a calendar widget to add due dates to tasks. Create categories like work, personal, and school. Turn it into a desktop executable using a tool like PyInstaller so you can share it with friends. Each of these features could be a project of its own and help you learn even more about Python and GUI programming. And there you have it, a complete to-do list app built entirely with Python and Tkinter. You've learned how to design a user interface, capture user input, manage data, and persist it to a file. Not only is this a useful app you can use daily, but it's also a solid foundation for building more complex applications in the future. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to save your code, experiment with new features, and maybe even try building a web version using Flask or Django later down the line. Thanks for following along, and happy coding!